Hey, it's your boy AJ back with another freaking video, and today I'm here to talk about part 2 of the Baddies reunion. Child, I thought it was gonna be 3/4 parts. Baby, we're done with 2. Bam, wham, thank you, ma'am. In and out situation. I can't believe, like, we finna get into Baddies. All right, y'all, let's talk about the reunion. It's time to get on into the reunion. Thank y'all for patiently waiting. First episode of the reunion ended off with Rolly and Scotty's little fight. So Stunner Girl and DJ Nobody ends up walking on stage. It's time for them to fight. Now, DJ Nobody runs up on Rolly and completely gets her leg tossed and pushed into the ground. Now, when she's pushed into the ground, girl, Rolly is falling out having a good key, and that is where last episode ended. So this episode, it opened with that. Now, Sky is running up on Rolly and it got slammed, and now they're screaming back and forth, and I would be embarrassed. Like, if I got slammed like that, it would be no screaming back and forth. It would be no more chit chatting. It's giving very much, where's my Uber? It's nothing to even talk about that. When I seen that, it was freaking hilarious. Now, DJ Nobody is not really known to start a fight, come up and do the commotion. Rolly's like, somebody put you up to this. So Rolly gets mad, and Stunner Girl, she's like, you know, you put her up to this, you put her up to this. So at this point, Rolly is going back and forth and trying to get to Stunner Girl, and I'm looking like, oh my God, what do I do? Because y'all know I live for Stunner Girl and I live for Rolly. So girl, at this point, it's giving arms crossed. I'm just gonna watch them fight or see what happens. Now, while they going back and forth, girl, Stevie J is sitting on this damn stage eating it up. Girl, you could have thought he was, I don't even know, like watching from home. The way he was sitting on that stage eating it up, it would get like messy queen, girl. He was living for it. I don't know how he went from perverted, trying to date everybody and screw everybody on the stage, to observing and just getting all the messy tea. Like at one point, he wasn't even trying to break it up. He was just watching as if he's not the host. Like, I don't even know how he got this job. It is very clear that they booked somebody for the hosting and they dropped out last minute and had to hire Stevie J, which happens all the time. Because I think they said Young Miami was supposed to host the last reunion, and Young Miami ended up not being able to come through. So Young Miami called Trina and got Trina on to do last reunion. So the reunions are always a chaotic mess, and they probably book people 4 days before it's time to shoot the goddamn reunion. But Stevie J's sitting there eating it up. Now DJ Nobody ends up trying to roll up on Rolly again, and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Now when DJ Nobody runs up to Rolly this time, Rolly is talking about sit your ass down. And when I tell you, you couldn't have told me no difference. Tory Lane's father is in the background screaming, talk about some old. I heard something about some Rock Nation. I heard somebody sounding like Tory Lane's daddy. Like, it is so much going on. It's giving brain overload. Natalie is sitting there, you know, coercing and screaming and going back and forth. And I don't even know what Natalie be screaming about. Like, Natalie be drunk. Natalie be drinking on stage, off stage, to the side of the stage, behind the curtain, in front of the curtain. And she be drunk, just hopping in any mess. Now she's screaming, going back and forth. And at this point, Biggie is trying to fight. Now my brain is getting real, like my brain is getting fried, bro, because it is so much going on. Definitely with 50 million security guards in the way, in front of every situation. It is too much going on, and my brain is getting fried watching it. It's like a damn mess. In the midst of DJ Nobody and Rolly, you know, trying to throw hands, Biggie runs up and tries to jump into the fight, but then security kind of snatches her back, and then she's talking about some no jumping. What are you talking about? Swiping, no swipe. What the bitch? What are you talking about? How you talking about some no jumping? And you was running up to jump. She's talking about some no jumping. What you mean no jumping? And you almost ran up and got your wig knocked off by security. And then when you get caught, you talk about some no jumping. Like, we didn't see that. So I'm hitting the floor laughing because Biggie is, she's a headache, but she's also a key on the other hand. Like, she's a headache, but she's a key. So after that, in the midst of all of this going on, Tommy is being ushered out to the stage. So I guess Tommy kind of like sticks her head out or something, and Natalie's like, bring her out. I'm hitting the floor. Yeah, bring her out. Natalie screaming, bring her out, as if she's like some bull is taking me out. Like, it was taking me out. So after Natalie is sitting there screaming, talking about bring her out, of course they bring Tommy fully out, you know, to the stage. Now, girl, I don't know what happened. The camera ends up glancing by Rolly, and she's standing there in her Lane Bryant fit with no fucking wig, on her head. And I cannot believe my eyes. Now, I don't know if Tommy got like a drink thrown on her because I was so distracted at what Rolly had on, but Tommy begins to get wiped down, girl. She's wiping down. They is wiping her down. So they is wiping Tommy down, and you can clearly see why she's getting wiped down. Kat is like ready. Kat is ready because y'all know Kat is mad because she was called the assistant. So she was been ready, girl. She's been ready, and I'm surprised that Kat wasn't over there wiping Tommy down, bitch. But she's ready for Tommy to get finished getting wiped down. So as soon as Tommy gets finished getting wiped down, Kat addresses her, and they want the smoke. Now, girl, I was totally not expecting for Kat to come after Tommy like that. When I seen that, I was goofed, I was gagged, my mouth was to the floor. Now, that whole ordeal, back and forth, whatever it is, was a bunch of nothing. Cute, I love seeing, you know, old Kat come out, but you know, it was a snooze fest. I'm gonna be honest. It was a snooze fest. It was cute, but it was a snooze fest. Now, move right along, back and forth, Rolly is arguing with Tommy because Tommy just got on stage, so everybody's getting a big one with Tommy. Now, Rolly and Tommy are going back and forth. Tommy is upset because Rolly said in confessionals or either on the show that Tommy's on drugs. So Tommy's like, where you get that information from? They sent you or they told you to say that. Where you get the information from? And she's really trying to clock Rolly, right? So Rolly's like, you know, I just say stuff when I'm mad. You know, any bitch be on drugs if I'm mad. And I'm literally yodeling because I understand, girl. Anything, when I'm upset, anything is going to come out and you're just going to get it. I'm so sorry about it.
You seen me do drugs? I never said I seen you do drugs. Girl, I hit below the belt when I argue. That's how it is.
So while they doing this back and forth, I'm totally on the edge of my bed because I want to see Rolly and Tommy go at it. I want to see that. If I have never bought one of those little, you know, pre-recorded, whatever little fight, I never got one of those, but I got my $15 ready, $25, $30, whatever I need, because I would have lived. Okay, I would have lived to see that. Now, out of nowhere, the conversation ends up directing back to Rolly and Stunner Girl. Stunner Girl ends up interrupting the argument with Rolly and Tommy. So Rolly starts talking about some shut up, little girl, stay in the little girl's place, da 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 da. And she's, you know, giving it to poor old Stunner Girl. In the midst of Rolly and Stunner Girl barking at each other, going back and forth, Tommy is standing behind the couch and she ends up tasing herself. What in the hell is she doing with a taser? When I tell you my mouth hit the floor, I couldn't believe my eyes once again. What is she doing with a damn taser? How she get in with a taser? Now y'all know Miss Lowe, get to the bag. Lowe is talking about, so why you got a taser in her most Alabama countryist voice? Why you got a taser?
That's weird. It's my cell phone. Why you bringing weapons?
Goofed and gagged that she's been caught, and she's like, I don't need a taser for none of y'all bitches. I stayed in the house with y'all bitches.
If I was scary, I wouldn't be here.
But where did taser come from? Did they give you a taser on your way in? Look, in a goodie bag, you got a bottle of wine, a taser, and a phone case. Where the fuck did the taser come from? Talking about some she needs a taser. But does everybody have a taser, bitch? Like, what are you talking about? Tell me you got caught. So at this point, it is 20 million security guards on stage, and I'm like, I can't even see anything. I can't even see fucking anything. It's 20 million people on stage. Natalie ends up walking off stage to get another cup of liquor, girl. She is taking shots, sitting down, chilling, relaxing, but then, you know, she do a little barking, but for the most part, she's real filling her cup, offset. Now, Kat and Tommy are back at it again, girl. They're back at it again. They're going back and forth on stage arguing, and I'm like, I thought we was done. We were swinging, nothing really happened. We did a little spick and span, a little argument. There's no round two. There's no round two. So when Kat and Tommy started to try to argue again, I was completely over it. The only kind of part that was kind of funny is Kat started talking about some, oh, Tommy, you're screwing everybody. Oh, Tommy, you're screwing everybody. And Tommy's like, oh, I'm grown. I can screw everybody. And Kat said, the issue I got with you is you sucking and fucking.
You've been sucking and sucking.
And I'm thinking like, Kat, we need a new defense team. We need a new defense team because your issue is her calling you the help, calling you the maid, calling you the assistant. Your issue shouldn't be that she was sucking and fucking whoever she was sucking and fucking. That is not the issue, girl. That is not what your lawyer told you to get on this damn stage and say. Your issue is because she was calling you the help. Now, Rolly and Stunner Girl are still arguing on the other side. When I tell you it's, girl, I'm getting a headache because we're going left and right, left and right. Rolly and Stunner Girl are sitting on the opposite side of the stage, arguing, going back and forth. And Rolly's over it. She's like, look here, I'm done arguing with you. You haven't ran up. So I'm done talking to you. And she basically eats Stunner Girl up. Rolly eats Stunner Girl up and says, you've been sitting in that same spot. I'm done arguing. You ain't running up. But you know, Stunner Girl is not one to take no L. So she claps back and she says that she can mop the floor with Rolly's titties. And girl, I could have been mopped because I hit the floor. Stunner Girl be on it. When Stunner Girl said that, I fell out out because Stunner Girl is taking it and she's top tier. But somehow while these girls are arguing and going back and forth, girl, they start talking about Biggie's boombox speaker. Biggie was talking about some Rolly, we were smoking, we were doing this, and I have my speaker, I have my boombox. I'm thinking like, how did we get here? How do we get, like, it's so chaotic. How do we get here? I have no idea on how the boombox speaker was brought into like the conversation, but I am blinking eternity with my bang gang. So in the midst of Biggie and Rolly sitting here arguing back and forth, girl, DJ Nobody is sitting, she's sitting there, I don't know, the 12-year-old in her done jumped out because she's sitting there making nana boo boo faces at Rolly. And when Rolly sees DJ Nobody making faces, Rolly is completely like me. She's like, do you want to get beat up again?
Doing our hair, smoking. Bitch, do you want to get beat up again? Hey, do you?
I hit the floor. Girl, the floor is damaged. I've been on the floor so many times during this episode, girl. I hit the floor. Now they're going back and forth. DJ Nobody starts screaming like, oh, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. And after that, girl, it is all hell to pay. So they break out into a fight again, girl. Now DJ Nobody ends up popping out of her goddamn clothes. Rolly's talking about some, oh, you're wearing that cheap clothes. Look at it falling off. So, Stevie is ushering DJ Nobody over, you know, to the back of the stage to put something on because, you know, her top popped off. And I'm like, if Stevie don't sit down, Stevie just sat down, been looking this way, looking that way, getting the mess. And as soon as somebody top fall off, he want to usher somebody off the stage. If you don't sit your ass down, I was ready to call the feds. After DJ Nobody is ushered off the stage, Biggie is completely trying to make Rolly like the bad person, talking about she's fake, woo doo woo doo doo da da da. Rolly's over it. She starts screaming and they're going back and forth. Now they finally bring some type of peace to get the girl semi-seated so we can kind of have a little discussion about what is going on throughout the season. Now, they start talking about Razor and saying like, oh, why she isn't there and X, Y, and Z. And Scotty with the body is talking about some, oh, she was going to beat the BBL out of Razor and she couldn't wait to see Razor, da da da. And she posted that on social media the day before the reunion and Razor was a no-show the day of the reunion. Now, of course, Tommy has to go put a cocker spaniel in her mouth and she's saying, hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to play that. We're not gonna. Razor left her phone on the flight, lost her phone on the flight. I want to know how the hell did Razor lose a phone on a flight that she said on the interview she never made it to? If you never made it to a flight, how the hell did you lose your phone on a flight? Y'all should have figured that lie out. Getting it straightened out behind the scenes, did a couple phone calls. What the hell is Tommy talking about? Because Tommy is up your lie, Razor. Somebody messing their lie up. So when that happened, girl, I'm like, y'all need to figure that damn lie out. So after that, basically, Scotty is chewing Tommy up. Scotty is chewing Tommy up because Tommy is eating cocker spaniel and they're going back and forth. And I would have lived to see a little something between Scotty and Tommy, girl. I would have lived for it. It was a lot of fights, but I would have lived for a couple more fights. Now, after that, girl, Krishan has this pre-recorded video and the pre-recorded video is playing and not a single soul, can't nobody actually sit there and listen to the video because people cussing, people walking off stage, people doing this. It's so much going on in the midst of Krishan talking. I can't even pay attention to what she's talking about, girl. It's a mess. It's a complete mess. Now at this point, we're 40 minutes into the reunion. It's a bunch of nothing. I've heard a bunch of nothing and my head is pounding and I'm ready to go live to just talk about this and be done with the season, girl, because what is going on now? They finally actually let Stunner Girl and Rolly fight, and they giving them hell like they named my Kel girl. Rolly, Stunner, they doing a big one. At first, it started off a little boring. I'm gonna be honest. It started off like they was both scared of each other. It started off a little bit like, y'all gonna actually let us fight? And we were just talking good shit. Then they got into the swing of things, girl. They got into the swing of things, and as soon as they got into the swing of things, literally, security breaks them up. And I'm like, girl, we just got to thumping. We could barely get the thumping. We was just thumped. We could barely get the thumping. We was just thumped. So they thumped, girl, and I'm like, I was living. Now, as they doing back and forth and, doing the fight, girl, Natalie is sitting there screaming, talking about some next, I'm next, let's go.
I'm next, let's go. I'm next, let's go. Yep. I'm next, let's go. I'm next, let's go. Me. I'm scared. Came on Baddies West.
And Natalie being on 10, she's taking it. She's mother for me. I live for Natalie. The girls don't live for Natalie, but I truly live for Natalie because Natalie is top tier TV, period. Point blank. On any network, Natalie brings it, okay? So she's talking about some let's go. And I'm thinking like, yes, let's go, baby. At first, I was thinking like, oh, are they not going to let Tommy fight Natalie? Because it was given like, oh, they didn't want to fight. Girl, they let Tommy and Natalie fight, bitch. And when I tell you, I was gagged. I was speechless. Natalie was flipping poor Tommy all around, flipping Tommy the fuck around, bitch. When I tell you, you could have thought Tommy was a motherfucking dog that ran away from home and got caught. Bitch, she was flipping and I was like, oh my God. Literally Rolly was screaming, me and Rolly screamed at the same time, like, oh my God, like we was like it was gagged. A lot of people want to say, oh, Zeus edited in Natalie's favor. No. If you can clearly tell by everybody's on the stage reactions, the face expressions. If you watch everybody's behind reactions, they like, oh my God, like Natalie actually whooping this bitch ass. And we were gagged. I said, oh my God, bitch. I was like, Natalie? Like, Natalie talks a good game. She talks a good game. And, you know, the other fight she did with Tommy, you know, whatever that was. But this had me gagged. When she put Tommy on that floor like that, no air in my lungs. I was so speechless. Now, in the midst of all that, Natalie is slammed on the ground and she gets back up with no wig. And I'm like, girl, where the wig go? We did our big one, but where the wig go? She gets like literally, she gets up. There's no wig to be found. Now, Natalie ends up dipping off set. I guess she's done her fight. She's done what she needed to come do. So she leaves off set. Now, Tommy is beginning to get embarrassed. She is beginning to get super duper embarrassed because she done got several drinks thrown on her. People is showing her up. People is telling all her business, and she done got her ass dragged. So Tommy is embarrassed. So first thing Tommy starts doing, and she starts to throw this damn chair. Then she hits the camera. Then she hits an actual cameraman.
What the hey, what the hey, come on. Hey. Oh my God. Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, what's up?
She's embarrassed. She's acting a fool like this because she just got her ass washed by Natalie Nunn. That is why she's losing her goddamn mind. She's trying to fight everybody, producers, security, the cameraman, the cameras that don't got no man attached to them. The bitch is trying to fight everybody because she didn't got her ass dragged. And I am gagging. Now, girl, out of nowhere, Natalie reappears. She reappears like Glinda the Good Witch, girl. She reappears out of nowhere and she throws a whole drink in Tommy's face, and Tommy could have drowned. Tommy could have drowned.
What's up?
Tommy could have drowned, and I was headed back down to the floor because it was too much and it was a grand old key. So when Natalie throws the drink at Tommy, basically she slips. She slips too because she tries to throw the drink and also punch Tommy. She slips. Tommy is sitting there looking embarrassed, and it's time for her second round of everything up. So she starts pushing the speakers and knocking the TVs over and trying to fight again. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm thinking like, Tommy, I know they not paying you that much and they're going to take your whole check if you're going to mess everything up because you're embarrassed. Okay, you lost. You look, a damn fool. Just leave out. Because I swear, fucking the setup is not going to do anything. Nobody's going to be like, okay, she did get washed by Natalie Nunn, but she showed it. Fuck that setup. So it's fine. Nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to give you that. You're out of luck. I'm sorry. So she's very embarrassed, and that is really where the reunion ends. The reunion ends there. Stevie and the CEO's wife with her little Muppet, I call her Fantasia Jr. Fantasia Jr. and Stevie ends up doing a whole conversation in the end by themselves with the wigs laying on the couch from the girls, and they got snatched off. But that is where the reunion ends. The reunion was very entertaining. It was a bunch of fights and a dollop of a bunch of nothing. I wish it would have been a little bit more conversation, but it was cute. From a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this reunion about a 6.5. Maybe, could have been a 7, a 6.5.